changes. It doesn't mean we don't do things. It doesn't mean that we don't take care of things. There's a difference. And if you're battling what we're hearing right now by saying that, well, I have to do this, I have to do that, that's all ego. And, well, I have to hang on to this or I'll lose that. Or I have to keep doing this or I'll do this instead and this isn't good. So all of that is ego. All of that is still not trusting. All of that is still not surrendering. All of that is still not completely believing that there's a bigger picture. And it's going on regardless of what we do. So it's going on regardless of what we do. This world is going on. Everything is happening. It all existed before you were here. So it's happening already. We get a lot of discomfort from fighting just what is. And that's not going to change. What is not going to change. All that is not going to change. Truth is not going to change. Well, the only thing that can change is the battle you have against what it is. And if you're constantly fighting and constantly feeling like you need to compare yourself to someone or something else, or get better at something or something else, that's resistance. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get better, or whatever better means. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make changes. It's a shift of energy. It's very subtle. We're talking about very subtle energy. Everything already exists. It all is just as it's meant to be. It's all in divine perfection. We get in discomfort as humans when we try to fight what is. What is not going to change. It's not going to change. What can change is your surrender into what is. So when we start to really tap into that subtle energy, there's an amazing personal transformation that happens. It's beyond words. And the last card that we have is reflection. And what a perfect card for the end of the year. Reflecting back. Reflecting back. And tuning into energy of what you would like to feel moving forward. What can you totally let go of and release and leave behind? There's no need to even look back. The only thing we have right now is the present moment. It's all we have is this moment. So to find some comfort and some peace and some joy within the moment, it's a surrender. It's a surrender into what is. And what is truth, and what is love. That is not going to change. Love, truth, that does not change. That remains the same underneath it all. So it's just tapping into that, allowing yourself to settle into that truth, to surrender, to let go of all of the other stories that keep you fighting, battling, pushing, just surrendering into that peace. Okay, so we're going to pull a card from the Fifth Agreement. And it says, I listen to the intent behind the words. And that really feels like it's going along with this reading, right? It's the intent behind the words. Some of this stuff might be hard to understand. We fight as a human, right? We have to keep getting better. We have to try harder. And Feel into the intent behind the words that you're hearing today. Try to feel into the intent behind the words. What can you settle into, let go of, release, surrender into? And a good way to play with that, we'll go back to the reflection card, is reflect on things that cause you anxiety, or reflect on things that are constantly in your head. Those are the things that we want to surrender and let go of. Those are the things that are still directing our life and not necessarily in the best way, right? It's keeping us busy. It's keeping us out of the present moment. If you were in the present moment, we wouldn't have all these records going around in your head. So reflect on what is keeping you busy in your head. What is causing you anxiety? What is causing you to push? What is causing you to fight? And play with finding a surrender to the scariest thing possible, right? Think about that. What is the scariest thing possible for you right now? What is the scariest thing? What do you have the most fear around? Is it losing a relationship? Is it around getting fat? Is it around physical pain? Is it around not loving yourself? Is it around being left? Where's your biggest fear? What is it? What are you afraid of? Reflect on that. And then can you surrender if that's true? If it happens? Is that true? And if it happens, can you go there? Can you allow yourself to go there? Can you face it? Take your biggest fear and allow it to happen, and then let it settle in. And then know that you're okay. You're okay if your biggest fear comes true, and you're loved if your biggest fear happens, and you are still just as spectacular and amazing if your biggest fear happens. But if we constantly run from our biggest fear and battle it and try to fight it, it's only going to get bigger. And if you're winning or you're beating your biggest fear right now, it will come back. So face it whenever you can. Look at it, be with it. Simple one. If you're afraid of getting facts, it's tangible. Sit with being fat or out of shape. This time of year, that's all. You hear so many people just pounding on themselves. And what if you are? What if you do? What if you overeat? What if you don't work out? Then what? If you go into, well, I won't, I'm going to battle, I'm going to fight, and I'm positive and that's not going to happen. That's battling. That's a resistance. If you can settle yourself into, okay, if I get fat, oh, well, if I overeat, oh, well, if I go into old patterns with eating, oh, well, if I overwork out, oh, well, if I underwork out, going into your biggest fear and allowing that fear to neutralize by being with it. And that doesn't happen in your head. It's not something you just tell yourself. I know there's wonderful affirmations and saying this over and over again to be positive, replace the negative with the positive, and that's fine and beautiful, but it's still a resistance. It's still a resistance. You're fighting what you're actually feeling. So can you sit with and love yourself regardless of your biggest fear? If your biggest fear happens, if you're left, if you lose a relationship, if you lose a job, if you lose what defines you as a human being, maybe it's your career. What if you lose your career? Then what? But I won't lose my career. I can't lose my career. That's resistance. And you will lose your career, and then you'll be sitting with yourself. Underneath all of the definitions, all of the things that you think make you worthy and loved and accepted. They're not real. They're not who you are. You are loved and accepted regardless of what job title you hold, what your physical body looks like, what your mental body looks like, what relationship you're in, who loves you, who doesn't love you. If you're in pain, if you're not in pain, none of that is who you are. And this is a time to reflect on, get still with, who are you, and can you be okay without all of these definitions and things that you believe make you important or living out your life path? We get caught up in that. That's ego. Deep, lots to play with. I guess it's going into the new year, longer reading. But listen to the intent behind words and really listen. Really listen behind the words. Okay? Behind the words. That's when people talk, they use words, but you can feel what's behind the word. And when your words match your feeling, that's when we have intimate, connected relationships and conversations. If the words don't match the feeling, we've all had those conversations. It's an empty conversation. It's empty. And when you speak empty words, it's totally different than when you actually bring the feeling behind the words. So listen to the words and really listen to the intent behind your words and other people's words. Yeah, huge personal transformation happening when we play with all of this. Huge. Okay, so we're going to pull a card from the crystal deck. Rainforest Rhyolite. Love and joy permeate every cell of my body. Spiritual contact, protection, and strength. Ooh, it's beautiful. Rainforest Rhyolite. Spiritual contact, protection, and strength. So we're connecting to our spiritual higher selves. Feeling the love and the joy permeate throughout your whole entire body as we have this amazing personal transformation towards the end of the year, this last week in 2017. It's happening. It's high vibrational. It's powerful. There's lots of movement. It's fantastic. But it's really surrendering into our biggest fears and getting still and reflecting on where we might be battling and not surrendering yet. Ego can be disguised very well. So if we feel like we're on the right path and really positive, watch where your ego might be getting caught up in it and where your resistance is. And the more work you do with this, the more hidden it gets. So keep reflecting, going within. Really be mindful of the intent behind other people's words and your words. Have the word match the feeling, have it connect, have it match so it's a powerful conversation with yourself and with others. Okay. All right. I hope you enjoy